Hello, today we are with my friend Benjamin. Hello, Benjamin.
How are you?
Fine with you?
I'm good, thank you.
Today I'm gonna ask you some questions about personal information. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The first is: did you grow in a family that's taught history?
Yeah. No, I grew up in a family, a pretty big family. We were always around cousins and other family members. I have four siblings. I have two brothers and two sisters, and I live with them and my two parents.
Okay. Please tell me a history about yourself or your childhood that help explain who you are, where you come from, or what your culture is.
Um, I would say that the story that helps kind of define the culture that I was raised in was when my little sister was born. She was born when I was 8, and after my parents decided to stop having kids, they kind of decided to finish their family there. And well, we were living in a pretty small house at the time. I was living in a room with my two brothers, and after she was born, we had two sisters living next, like just right across the hall from us. It was a pretty small house, and so when we moved, a couple months after she was born, I was really keen. I really wanted to find my own space. I really wanted to be my own person. So I would say that just my family has helped shape me a lot, and that especially Charlotte, her birth, it was kind of like the starting point of me trying to find my own space outside of my family.
Okay, thank you. What is your definition of culture?
I would say that my definition of culture really is just anything that like helps you be more human. It can be, like we think that just music and the food and the media that we consume, all of that is just pretty normal, and it differs place to place. But I would say that like that's something that helps you be just more of a person. It's easy to just get wrapped up in like, well, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is my work, this is who I've always been, and this is what my family's always done. But culture is always changing, it's always adapting, and everything that we participate in helps us. Well, all of that is culture, and it's something really rich and unique and uniquely human.
Okay. How do you feel? Excuse me. How do you define family?
Family. I would define family as anyone that loves you, and that can be anyone at all. It can be any person on the street. It can be any person in like another country even. You may have never met each other, but if you're willing to love each other, if you're willing to take each other for what you are, well then you can be family. I firmly believe, I know that we're all part of the same family, that God is our Father, and while we do have our families here on earth, the people that we're immediately connected with blood, we can also be connected with love with anyone else.
Okay. Who hold the most story in your family? Why?
I would say in my immediate family, it is my father, just because he's the head of the household, and it's just kind of the culture that we have as members of the Church of Jesus Christ, to have fathers be the person who leads everything out and helps everyone accomplish the things they need to accomplish. I would say in my extended family, it's just the person with the most age, who happens to be my great grandpa. He's going to turn 95 this year.
Okay. How do you define success?
I would say that I define success as, well, I think when you learn something, you get a little bit of success. You're successful when you learn. It's not just when you get money or when you accomplish a goal. Those are things that can help you learn, and that is a sign that you have learned something. But I feel like a lot of times people learn by failing, and it's okay to fail, because as long as you learned what you needed to from not achieving whatever you were trying to achieve, then you're growing, and that was something successful. As a missionary, my goal is to baptize. And my goal is to baptize and help people come closer to Christ. But even if I don't baptize, even if I don't really actually change anyone's life, at least I tried. And at least I tried to learn something from it. And if I really did learn something from it, and if I became a better person for it, I was successful.
Okay. Do you feel that your parents were successful? Why or not?
I do think that my parents were and still are successful. They're really successful people because they have learned a lot. They've learned a lot about how to deal with 5 children and about how to deal with all of the financial problems that have come their way, all of the trials that they've had to overcome. It's been something really awesome to watch. I've had the pleasure to be their oldest child, and it's been really cool to see them grow and to see them become more successful in their own businesses and endeavors as persons.
Is how important is education in your family?
It's really important. It's super important. All of my grandparents have bachelor's degrees, and they all were able to have the opportunity to go to school, which was super important for them. All of my parents, both of my parents and pretty much all of my extended family who are old enough, they all have or are working on bachelor's degrees too, and some have received more. My dad has a master's degree, and to be honest, he's told us to never stop learning. He put us in a really rigorous school during high school so that we could learn how to work really hard, and it's worked out really well for me. Before I left on a mission, I was able to get an associate's degree, and I plan on getting a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, and a PhD as well. And it's something that I think opens a lot of doors. It's not something that's 100% necessary, but it opens a lot of doors in the future, and it helps us understand a little bit more and push our limits a little bit more.
Did you ever live with your grandparents or extended family?
I did. Before I left on a mission, so I went to college for a little bit, and then I live in Colorado. I went to college in Utah for a little bit, and then I came back to Colorado after I got my associate's degree, and I lived with my grandparents and worked to save up a little bit of money, and then I left on the mission. So I lived with them for, how long did I live with them for? For 5-6 months. It was a pretty long time. I lived with them for 6 months. Just me and them, and then also while we were moving, we as a family we lived with them for 4 months.
Okay. Do you actually participate in an organization relation?
Yes, I do. I do actively participate in an organized religion. I'm a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. People call us Mormones, but yeah, we're missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ. It's something really important to me. It's something really important to my family. My ancestors walked across the plains. They walked for 1,000, almost 2,000 miles to be able to escape persecution, to be able to escape people who didn't want them to practice the religion that they wanted. And so it's really hugely important to me, my culture, my religious culture. And I participate every week. And I read the scriptures every day, and I share what I learn with other people, and I help them to find the same joy that I found in my religion.
Okay. Do the young people today have a sense of culture?
I would say yeah. I mean, I'm a young person. I feel like I have a sense of culture. It's like I wake up in the morning and I decide to wear this tie instead of deciding to wear another tie. I decide I'm going to listen to this song instead of listening to another. I think this is sufficient evidence that I'm able to make these decisions of what I like and what I don't like, and most of the time they fall in line with, or at least fall into different groups of people in the same age category. My companion doesn't choose the same things that I do, but we like similar things. We talk about similar things. I have my own culture based off of where I grew up, not only in the United States, but also based off of the state that I grew up in. I root for different sports teams than other people because they grew up in other states than I did. I listen to different music than some other people because I was a part of different groups in high school, and I did marching band, and so I'm gonna listen to more instrumental stuff. I ran track, and so I'm gonna listen to something more upbeat. I had certain friends who really liked this artist, and I really loved that friend, and so I started to listen to that musical artist as well. I would say the young people for sure have culture, and I would say that, like I said earlier, like we're always learning and we're always being influenced by these things, and to say that people don't have culture, that any person doesn't have a culture, is just flat out wrong. That's just incorrect.
Okay. For finish this interview, I'm gonna ask you one more question.
Okay.
Okay. What is the worst thing about living in US?
I think the worst thing about living in the United States is that we just don't understand how blessed we are as a people. That we just don't understand. Like, we know that we're the richest, we know that we're the best, or at least that's what we've been told. And I would say, well, I'm a little biased, but I would say that it's true, that we really are really blessed, and we really have access to a lot. And it blinds us a little bit. It's something that my eyes have been opened on the mission to be able to just see the type of living conditions that people have here in the DR, which is not a bad place to live at all. The Dominican Republic is a really amazing place to live, but there are challenges. And I would say that in the United States, the big challenge, the worst thing about living there is just the fact that we just don't understand how well we have it. And sometimes we're not as grateful for the things that we have. When I go back, I'm gonna be grateful for, hot showers and running water and all the things that I had that I took for granted over there. I think that's probably the worst thing about living in the United States.
Okay, Benjamin, thank you for hearing me.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciated your help,
Yeah.
because I never have a experience like that, because I never I have the opportunity to speak with someone like you. Thank you very much.
Of course, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.